Bangladeshi meatballs, Shahed recipe. I am Mohammed Khaled Zubair. I made this video for all. Meatballs have been around for ages and transcend cultures, known and devoured in different names. Most of the time they are basically ground meat, one or more varieties, rolled into balls or oblong shapes. They're bound together with a little egg, milk, and maybe some breadcrumbs and seasoned with some herbs and spices. Every Bangladeshi has fond memories of these roundels, growing up with their mom's home-style meatballs. They're the ultimate comfort food, from everyday nights to celebrations and festival times. People take pride stating how their family recipe is the best, with little nuances passed from one generation to the next. For meatballs, the most common mix is a 50-50 ratio of beef and chicken. Binders: A, breadcrumbs and eggs. We just used egg yolks. Onion: A, finely chopped. Spices: A, garlic powder, allspice, nutmeg, parsley: A, finely chopped. Salt, pepper. Butter, olive oil: A, for frying. Butter. Flour. Beef broth. Cream. Worcestershire sauce. Mustard. Salt, pepper. A few tips and tricks. Mix in all the ingredients for the meatballs and roll them into nice and tight balls. Make them good and firm round so they can retain the shape when frying. When you fry your meatballs, don't overcrowd them. This ensures they get a nice brown sear. Instead of steaming, to get the more flavors into the meatballs, we suggest using a dash of olive oil and plenty of butter when you fry them. It makes for a nice brown crispy exterior. All the brown bits and stickings in the bottom of the pan are like gold to the sauce. They impart not only beautiful color to the sauce, but amazingly delicious flavors. Plate your meatballs out onto a bowl full of mashed potatoes. Sprinkle on some green like parsley and some red like lingonberry jam. Take a bite. A broken bar, you are already in food heaven. Note: slow cooking makes for extra tender and succulent meatballs. This is also a great way to prepare them ahead of time for a party. You can first brown your meatballs as you normally would in a skillet to give them a little color, or for a faster prep, they can be added raw to the crock pot. Rather than making a roux, make a slurry by slowly stirring the beef broth into the flour. Once this is done, add all ingredients into your slow cooker. Cook 2 hours on high or 4 or 5 hours on low, until internal temperature of the meatballs is 165 degrees F. You can keep them on the warm setting until ready to devour. How to cook them in the Instant Pot. Start by browning the meatballs. Set your Instant Pot to sauté mode. Brown up your meatballs in butter and olive oil and then set aside. Build up your sauce just as you would on the stove top, omitting the cream. Add meatballs back in, seal the lid and set on manual for 8 minutes. Let pressure release naturally for 10 minutes. Stir in the cream and you are ready for a feast. Simple. For the meatballs, replace the breadcrumbs with 1/4 cup almond flour. For the sauce, replace the flour and butter with 1 cup of sour cream. Rather than making a roux, first stir in the beef broth and get all those bits from the bottom of the pan mixed in. Then just mix in the remaining ingredients. Some variations. Some people add milk into their meatball mix to make them juicier. To do this, first mix the milk with breadcrumbs, or even with plain white bread. Soak it a few minutes and then add this mixture to the meat. Instead of raw onion, sauté till the copyright the chopped onion in a little butter till light brown before adding to the mixture. Most of the time, I make some onion free to make as happy. Try different sides, like some other form of potatoes or egg noodles. I also like some veggies on the side, like peas, broccoli or pickled cucumber, very common in Bangladesh. Storing leftovers. The cooked meatballs can be refrigerated in an airtight container for 3-4 days. You can freeze for a couple of months, but afterwards the quality of the sauce begins to diminish. A great option is to make a giant batch, doubling the recipe, and freezing the uncooked meatballs. After forming them, first freeze the meatballs on a tray lined with parchment paper. Once they are completely frozen, store them in freezer-friendly Ziploc bags. They last frozen this way for 3–4 months. Whenever you are in the mood for meatballs, you are in for a very quick and easy meal night. Just thaw them in the fridge for several hours before cooking. This is a great meal prep option. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe my channel. Channel name Khaled Zubair.